Today on our 2011 Ford Explorer, you're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the Roadmaster MX base plate kit with removable arms. Part number 4427-3A. This is what our base plate looks like when it's installed. As you can see, it's completely hidden behind the fascia. It's going to be one of 5 main components in a flat toe setup. The other 4 are going to be your tow bar, your safety cables, your wiring, and your braking system. The MX base plate is compatible with all Roadmaster tow bars that are hitch mounted. Keep in mind that the Easy Hook safety cables that come with the Sterling tow bars are not compatible. They require an extra bracket down at the bottom that the cable will slide into and lock into place. This MX base plate does have removable arms, and they're held in place by a pin and clip. When not in use, you simply pull the pin and clip, slide out your removable arm. It's going to maintain a nice clean look on the front of the vehicle. This tab here on the side, this is going to be for our safety chains. And then we have another one down here on the bottom. This is for a lock. This is going to help secure your locking tabs on your vehicle so they can't be removed by somebody. Base plate's going to have a nice black powder coat finish. It's going to resist any rust or corrosion. As far as the installation goes, pretty simple, straightforward installation. There's no drilling or welding required. It's going to come with all necessary hardware. The one thing that the kit does not come with that you will need is some red Loctite. You can find that here at etrailer.com. I will recommend having 2 people because you do have to remove your fascia and to help slide your base plate into place until you'll get your first bolts in. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let me show you how to get it installed. First thing we need to do, 10mm socket. We're going to have 10mm head bolts across the top of our fascia we need to remove. Next, take a flathead screwdriver. We're going to have 2 pushpin fasteners we need to remove. There's a little slot in between the base and the very center. You want to pop that center up. Just make sure when you're pulling this out, you get the base with it. We can remove this and set it aside for now. Next, we'll have 4 Phillips head screws we need to remove from each side of the vehicle. We're going to have 2 here and then 2 right here. And we're going to pull our fender flare out. Right up here at the top, it has a lip. It kind of sits down. So we're going to pull out and up on it, and then I'll pop it loose. We're going to have another Phillips head here. Depending on manufacturer, this could be a Phillips head, or these could be like an 8mm screw. It looks like this has been taken out before. There's a 8mm screw here and a Phillips head there. So from this corner around the front to the other corner, we're going to have a total of 9 8mm head bolts. You're going to have 3 holding this liner on to your front fascia. We'll have 3 across the center, and you're going to have 3 more on the other side. Next, we're going to pull back our fender liner. We want to unplug our fog lights. We're going to have a green plug that looks like this. We're going to push in right there, and we'll just pull them apart. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to remove our fascia. We're going to start from the outside and work our way to the center. We're just going to pull out, just like that, and then we'll set it aside. Next, we need to pop off our ambient temperature sensor. Take a flathead screwdriver or trim panel tool. We're going to pop it out like that. We're just going to let that hang for now. Next, we're going to use a grinding wheel. If you have a die grinder, that'll work too. You'll see 4 holes here on your bumper core. The outside 2 holes, we need to open them up. We'll just grind that hole out. We want them big enough to fit our bolt through. I'm going to spray the bare metal to reduce any risk of rust or corrosion later on. Next, we're going to take our 3.5-inch hex bolt. You're going to have 2 different size plates. We're going to use the smaller of the plates here. The 4 holes in our bumper core, we're going to line them up with the 4 holes on our receiver brace. So we're going to raise it up into place like this. Slide it up in there. Once you have your base plate in place, you want to line up the holes in the bumper, your core support with the holes on your base plate. We'll take our 3.5-inch bolt, hex bolt. Then you're going to have two different size backing plates. You want to take the larger of the two. We're going to put our bolt through it, and then we're going to go through the center hole. Do that on both. Now for now, I'm going to be using a lock washer and a nut. I'm just going to put this one on for now, just to make sure that my base plate stays up there. I don't want it to fall off. Before I put my other hardware on, I'm going to take some red Loctite. We want to make sure we use that on all of our hardware that we're installing. We'll put a little bit on our threads. We're not going to tighten it down at this time. We're just going to finger tighten it. Go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Now we're going to take the larger of our pipe spacers. We're going to slide it right behind this brace here, in between the brace and our bumper core. We're going to line up our holes, take our 2.5-inch bolt, slide it through, make sure you put Loctite on it. Once you have your pipe space from your bolt through, you're going to have a smaller backing plate like this. It's going to go on the back side of the bumper core, right behind, actually right over top of your bolt. And you're going to follow it up with a lock washer and a nut. Then we're going to repeat the same process on this side. Next we'll take our formed backing plate. It's going to look like this. We're going to set it right on top of our frame rail here, 4-inch by 1/2 inch hex bolt, smaller pipe spacer. Spacer is going to go in between the lower part of your bracket and the frame rail, like that. 4-inch bolt's going to go down through the center and through the pipe spacer. Again, make sure you use Loctite. We'll follow it up with a lock washer and the nut. Next, with that 4.5-inch bolt, 4-inch bolt loose, we're going to take our 1.5-inch bolt. The head of the bolt's going to be towards the back. We're going to go through. We're going to put on a lock washer and a nut on each one of them. And you're going to repeat that on the other side. We'll take a 19mm socket and wrench. We're going to tighten all of our hardware down, and then we're going to torque it to the specifications and the instructions. We'll take our ambient temperature sensor, and we're going to zip tie it right here on our base plate. Now we can set our fascia back in place, and we need to modify the front of it to fit our base plate. So you can see, kind of have it marked out here in a black marker. In the directions, they tell you to cut out this whole thing and then around here. I like to keep it as close as possible, so I'm trimming it this way, and if I need to cut off more, I will. I just followed the line here and just kind of did around where my safety chain tie downs were on the base plate itself. So as far as cutting these out, these are just little plastic here. And then I'll use a Dremel tool with a cutting blade or cutting bit to get this out. Once you've modified your fascia to fit around your base plate, it's a good idea, before you completely install your fascia, to add any additional wiring like the Wiring Diode Kit. It's a lot easier to run the wires behind the fascia with it off than after it's put on. Once you've added any wiring, or you're ready to put your fascia on, you're just going to put it on in reverse order from the way you took it off. That'll do it for a look at an installation on the Roadmaster MX base plate kit with removable arms, part number 4427-3A on our 2011 Ford Explorer.